Hey, hello everybody. It's Jared Ulrich, the yard sale artist, coming to you from the Longbox Crusade Studios. This is my little yard sale artist studio tucked away inside the Longbox Crusade Studios. I've got Clinton downstairs. I got Rick upstairs in the garage. We've got Gene. MJ and Sean are running around here somewhere, and my LBC bros, I'm not sure where they're at. They're probably off causing trouble. But hey, welcome back for another episode of I Finished It, made exclusively for our Patreon sponsors, our Crusaders Club members. Thank you so much for being Crusaders Club member. We like to do little things exclusively for you guys because you are getting it done here for us in the palatial Longbox Crusade Studios. For this episode of I Finished It, we're going to be talking about VHS, 1980s VHS. People who follow me on Twitter will know that about once or twice a month, I'll do an 80s movie night with my boys out in my building. And we go all in. It's video cassettes, it's VCR, it's a 27, 30-inch tube TV. Anyway, it's a tube TV. It's exclusively the 80s. And most recently, we watched Allan Quatermain and the Lost City of Gold. So this is the topic for today's I Finished It. So we popped this in. We enjoyed it. The boys both really liked it. I got it 114, one almost 6, and they both really enjoyed Allan Quatermain and the Lost City of Gold. So I'm going to do what I always do and tell you a couple of things that I really like about it. So let's start with the box art. I mean, I'm going to get in as close as I can without getting the glare on it. But look at that box art. That is actual art, hand drawn, painted. Wow. I mean, this is when box art was box art. The box art alone for me is worth the owning of this video cassette. So we haven't talked about the actual content, and I'm already liking this thing. Now, there's a couple of things you want to look for when you buy old 80s VHS. If you like sort of cheesy, almost schlocky films like I do, you're going to want to keep an eye out for the Canon logo. Okay. Film people will know that the Canon logo is a sign that means it's very 80s. I mean, this is the studio that built Chuck Norris in the 80s. It's very 80s and it's very action-packed. And then the media logo at the bottom also tells you you're kind of in, not top-tier video quality, but still real good and real fun. So fun is definitely the word I would use to describe Allan Quatermain and the Lost City of Gold. This is the sequel to King Solomon's Mines that I think came out in 85. This one came out in 87, I want to say. This is the sequel. They both star Richard Chamberlain and Sharon Stone. This is very early Sharon Stone. This one, the sequel, also stars James Earl Jones, and he is quite good in it. Very entertaining. He's a welcome addition to the cast here in the sequel. So good cast, great box art, and the typical Canon just fun romp. It's, Canon's sort of like one action scene over another. They just use action beats oftentimes to get through their story. And the story is actually kind of a little thin, which is the case in this one. Allan Quatermain is looking for his brother who was lost while his brother was out looking for Lost City of Gold. So now Quatermain has to find it. So it's a pretty typical adventure. Go find his brother. My only complaint about the movie is I think it's a little long. It comes in at about an hour and 40. I would have cut that down to probably 90 minutes, really, because at some point I finally, as we were watching, I started to feel a little, okay, I got it. Movie kind of needs to wrap up. I mean, I would say he finds his brother 50 to 60% of the way through the movie. Spoilers. So you would think that would sort of be the climax at the end, but he finds it, and then there's almost like a second chapter after that, which sort of throws off the pacing of the movie. But you know what? Again, you don't look for big storytelling when it comes to these Canon films of the 80s. So if you just want kind of a fun romp, especially something to put on, maybe in the background while you're hanging out and having a good time, and something you can just kind of chat about during the movie with your friends, you can't go wrong with Allan Quatermain and the Lost City of Gold. And I do want to point something out. It is Quatermain. Most people, including myself for many years, said Quatermain. But there actually is only one R, and it's Quatermain, right? I just found that out not too long ago myself. There you can see it. Allan Quatermain and the Lost City of Gold. So Richard Chamberlain, Sharon Stone, James Earl Jones. If you like cheesy 80s fun, you can't go wrong. I want to thank the Crusaders Club members, once again, for sponsoring us over at patreon.com/longboxcrusade. Be sure to sound off in the comments on this. It's always nice to chat with people. If you've got thoughts on canon films, 80s cheese, Richard Chamberlain, Sharon Stone, James Earl Jones, Allan Quatermain, Lost City of Gold, any of those things, let us know. It's always nice to chat with you all. Thanks again for being sponsors, and I'll catch you again sometime real soon.